Alrighty. So very excited to announce that we finally got our Instagram integration approved and it's available and out to everyone. And that's part of the tutorial that I'll be going over in a few minutes, which will connect it to basically any Instagram account. It is fully white labeled. So when you connect to your client's Instagram or your Instagram, the connection point will be the same as it is for Facebook, and it's called AI meeting scheduler. So it doesn't say Stammer anywhere. So the branding is still hidden completely. But it does allow for a native integration with Instagram. So now you don't have to use Zapier or Go High Level or any other third party. You can connect it direct. And the cool part about this is it also works with our human handoff feature, which allows you to take over the conversation via any of these channels and set that up via a keyword trigger. And that's what I'll show in the demo in a few minutes. Next up, we've got a couple different additional currencies. If a currency is not available for what you're looking for, please let us know. Just make sure it's available with Stripe first. We're going to keep adding more currencies as needed as people keep joining the platform and start requesting for more currencies. We're currently also updating the mobile chat widget, so that'll be something to keep in mind. We're pushing another update on that for some odd-sized Android phones. That was causing some issues. We're going to be pushing out an update for that shortly. And then we've also added the latest GPT-4o model, and it's now the cheapest model at only 1 cent per response, which is great. Super cheap, super reliable. And then we also added in the ability to customize the appointment time when you are setting up a scheduling AI agent to do appointment scheduling. Of course, there's a bunch of bug fixes, and if there's any issues that people submitted, we've got all those fixed. And we're going to continue to improve the stability of the platform as we release more and more features here. And just if you guys are interested, you can always see the public roadmap yourself, roadmap.stammer.ai. And there's also the ability to go in here and add in items and things that you'd like to see within the platform and upvote and see kind of which other features people might be looking for. So you can add a new post in here and we'll be able to see that and add it to our roadmap. That's how we have been working with a lot of customers really closely lately about how to improve everything. All right, so next up, we're going to go into a full demo build here. And I'm also going to be doing this as a full YouTube video as well. But this is going to be something that hopefully will be helpful for a lot of people. So as we create a new AI agent, it's always the first thing I always kind of think about is, specifically who am I going to be making this for? Is it for myself, for a client? What type of niche are they going to be? Those are all things that I'm initially kind of think about when I first create a new AI agent. And when we first create a new bot, let me put on my little thing here. We have a lot of options here, but a lot of options are already defined or pre-made. So to make it as easy as possible for you to kind of fly through this section as easily as possible. So for this one, we're just gonna make one on Stammer itself to keep things simple. We're gonna add in a name, and if we don't add in a display name here, it's just gonna use this one right here, this name. The initial message, that's what the user is going to see initially. And if we just click Create AI Agent right here, we'll be able to kind of go through the process of adding information to a knowledge base, and then we can train it on this information, and we'll revisit this in a second. But I just wanted to go back to this area because I can now show you kind of what these are and how these look to users. So an initial message is going to be this message right here. And this is, so as a user, users will see this as the intro message to the AI agent itself. Now, conversation starters, this is something that a user can actually click or send in as a question without having to type it out. So if a client has a lot of common questions that they get all the time, this is super useful to put into the conversation starters. So for example, we get a lot of questions of, how much does Stammer cost? And so that could be a conversation starter that helps people engage with the AI agent itself. And if we click update, and we go to the tab here to view it, we can now see that there's an option for me to click, and it's not going to be able to give me an answer because we haven't added, like it'll say, I'm not sure or something like that. Yeah. And that's because we haven't added in any data about what Stammer does yet. And we'll do that in a second. And I'm just going to go through kind of each of these options and quickly explain each of them. If we select this option to keep conversation starters persistent, that's going to keep all conversation starters there if they're not clicked. So in Stammer do. So for example, if I add multiple different conversation starters, we can now see that there are two down here. And if I click one of them, the other one will remain. So you can kind of create these conversations in the way that customers might already be talking with a more programmed bot or whatever it may be. This is like a really good way to get things started and kicked off. When we're using the pop-up, so something like this, we have the ability to have the initial message, which is going to be this message right here, that can show up automatically after a certain amount of seconds, or you could have the entire chat widget pop up after a certain amount of seconds. And so as a user, they would hit a website. And then if I set this to maybe like 3, after 3 seconds, the entire widget will pop open and the user will be able to very clearly see that, hey, there's something here for me to interact with. Having this pop-up enabled definitely increases the rate at which people engage with these bots. So it's definitely something to test out and see if it works with higher adoption of users on your site or your client site. Model version, like I mentioned before, we just added this new version, GPT-4o 8.6. And this, I know this might be confusing, but this is how OpenAI is doing the naming of their models. So we're not trying to add any more confusion unnecessarily. So we just copied the exact same name. I'm going to select this one, which is going to be 1 cent. And now we get to look at the base system prompt, which might look confusing and at the beginning. But if we just went through it one line by line, it explains kind of every detail or a lot of the details of how you want to write a prompt. And this is what you would be familiar with if you've worked with ChatGPT before. This is what you're going to tell the AI agent on how to act and how to act in certain scenarios. If you want it to respond in a certain way, if you want it to respond like it's Elvis, for example, certain things like that. That's how you can customize this prompt. For me, and in this example, a lot of the time when I'm creating quick tutorials and quick examples, I'm just going to change where it says insert your company name here and insert name. I'm just going to put Stammer AI here. You are a helpful assistant for Stammer AI. Your job is to answer questions customers send to you. To do that, you've been given instructions on how to access the knowledge base, which is all of the data that we're going to train this AI agent on. Keep your answers as concise as possible while still giving the required information. Don't break character. This one's important because it won't answer questions if you try to tell me a story or write write something. It's only going to be able to give information that is relevant to the business, and that's really important. That's how you make sure that you have these guardrails in place, so that way the AI agent's not giving some sort of crazy deal or something that's like hallucinated, essentially. We want to make sure that everything is on brand for the client or wherever this bot is based. Now, there is a couple different items here about how to add in a scheduling link. This is kind of the quote unquote easy version of scheduling. So this allows you to add in a simple Calendly link or appointment scheduling link, excuse me, and this will show to the user. The AI agent will show them the link when they want to book a meeting. And that's slightly different than our scheduling, which is fully integrated within the chat. So instead of the user having to click a link and then that link brings them to a new page, they could just stay with the scheduling tab, this one right here. They'll be able to stay in the conversation and the AI agent will be like, oh, does 1 p.m. work for you? And if they say yes, then it will schedule the meeting automatically to the connected calendar. And I'll show you that briefly as well. So you could spend a lot of time working on these custom prompts for most basic scenarios. And for the scenario that we're in the example that we're going to be working on right here, like this is essentially it, that all I need to do really, just adding and customizing the name of the business. Everything else is going to work pretty standard. If I open up the advanced settings, there's going to be a lot of other items in here that we don't necessarily need to adjust. If we have a specific support email for a specific client, we can show that. The only things I'd really like to mention that are important is showing data sources in chat and debug mode. Showing data sources in chat, we're going to enable that, and that's going to be able to show exactly the URL or the piece of data that the AI agent gets its knowledge from. And I'll show you a demo of that in a second. And debug mode is very similar in the sense that this is something that is only going to be shown to you as an agency when you're creating and testing these bots. It will never be shown to users outside of this admin dashboard or your white label admin dashboard. And that's important because this will allow you to see what data is being seen by the AI agent for it to create its answers. In the past, we've had a fair amount of clients be like, oh, my answers are not correct. Like, why is it not working? Well, what we do is we'll enable debug mode, and then we'll be able to see what exact information is coming from their text or their files or their website or their QA. And often what we'll find is when they scrape a website, they're scraping so much data that the AI agent is taking essentially the wrong information. They're training it on old blog posts or old pages that might be seen by the scraper. And that's where it starts to become more of an important concept to learn about how to provide the right type of data. So, for example, if I wanted to train this AI agent on most of the information of Stammer, I could type in my website URL and I could train it on every URL that is connected to Stammer AI. But for this specific use case, we're only going to scrape only this URL specifically. So it's only gonna scrape one single page. And this will be useful specifically for this test because now we know exactly where this data is coming from. So if we click crawl and fetch data, we also have the option to auto scrape and retrain every 24 hours. So that means the scraper will go through and re-scrape it. And we can see that this one was scraped today. And all this information can be seen if we click the little eye here. We can see this is all of the text that's on the website currently. And it's now just the text basically. And this is how the AI agent now can see and understand information about what our pricing might be or what type of features are offered, things like that. Once all of this data is scraped, we can retrain the chatbot. And once that is retrained, now the AI agent will know the answer to that question that we were trying first. So as before, it says, I'm not sure. If we start a new chat and we say, how much does Stammer cost? It should give us the right information. Perfect. And it's going to show us the answer source. And you can see that it got this answer from this URL that we just scraped. So you can start to see how things are kind of fit together here. And if we scroll down a little bit, we see debug mode. And this is, again, it might look a little confusing, but this is the information that is sent to the AI model for it to create the answer that we're seeing right here. So the AI agent is going to the website URL. It's getting any relevant information that it thinks might be helpful to calculate or write a response. Saw that word. And then it's going to use all of that data to then create this answer that is based off of the data, the actual data on this homepage website. So this goes extremely deep when you add lots and lots of data. We've had people try to scrape things like Wikipedia and like crazy amounts of data. And if the answers are not correct, it's probably because somewhere in this data that has been scraped is incorrect information. The AI agent only knows what it's given. So as long as the information that it's being fed inside the knowledge base is correct, i.e., from a website or whatever it may be, um, that information will be correct. All right. So that's like the main chunk of how to create an AI agent that can answer questions and basically kind of do anything that you want it to do within the context of this prompt here. Now, where things start to get a little spicy is when we start to want to add in information about how the AI agent can not only answer questions, but it can collect and capture lead data from a user. And I'm going to briefly go over this because this is very similar to the scheduling tab. And these are full, like these are quite a bit more extensive tutorials with a lot more information that I could go over. There is a link in the chat here that I'm going to put to the YouTube channel. That is, I uploaded one literally yesterday about scheduling, about how it all works. So if you're interested in learning more in more detail about these two items, definitely go check out the YouTube channel and watch those tutorials because it goes very much in depth about how it works and how you can customize it and all these things. But essentially what we're going to do is we have two options for collecting lead data. We can collect it in a form before the conversation starts, which is kind of typical. If you're using Go High Level or GHL, this will be very familiar. And it works, but it's not it's not like the cool thing to do, essentially. Cool thing to do is having it collect lead data inside a conversation during the conversation. So for example, if we wanted to collect name or phone number or email address or literally any piece of data that we want, we can add this in here and we can add, what is your phone number, something like this. And when this is added, the AI agent will be able to ask the user for this piece of information, and then you'll be able to send this information to anywhere essentially. And you can do that through the webhook URL. And that's exactly what those more lengthy tutorials show, is how you can connect this to a CRM and have the CRM populate the data that you're collecting, as well as being able to populate the data and the appointment time of what you might have, of what an appointment might be scheduled. So right now, we only support the Google Calendar, and that allows it to be able to connect, like you connect it directly to your Google Calendar. And once you have it connected, the AI agent will be able to look at your current availability and see exactly what is available on your calendar to send to the AI agent. And all of that information will be handled inside of this chat interface. Once the meeting appointment is scheduled, same way that you send lead data, you can send information via the webhook to any other platform. And the key here is we can also include this lead data. So for example, if you're collecting phone number in the leads tab, the scheduling tab will also collect their email address because it has to schedule the appointment to someone. And by default with Google Calendar, it's set up with Google Meets. So the appointment and the meeting location will already be added to the appointment. And the item that we added down here, which is being able to customize this appointment title, that will show up in your user's calendar when the meeting appointment is scheduled. This is definitely a more advanced feature, which is why I'm kind of going through it quickly. But like I said before, there's quite a few tutorials that I've created and filmed specifically on these two options. So definitely take a look at those and to get more information. The Conversations tab is going to be where you see all of the existing and ended conversations that your AI agent is having with a user. And we can see that there's a little option here called "Is Human Handed Off?" And that will be, I'll show that in a second. This we're working on actively to improve and add a bit more functionality. Down the line, we're eventually going to be adding some sort of live chat feature where when it's human handed off, you can come in here and start chatting back with the user. That's on the roadmap, but coming out in a little bit. Finally, the appearance tab. This is where you actually customize the chat widget itself. So this can be customized to basically any brand, any color, anything that you want it to do or show or say. You can customize this. And the best way I would recommend is just playing around with this to figure out exactly how you want the branding to be represented, because you could change the color, you could change the background image of this. Like instead of it just being all white, you could add a background image um, like this, like so. You could, I mean, there's so many customizations that you could do. We could spend, a whole hour on this one alone, but I would recommend just kind of playing around with it, seeing what works and what you can do. We've seen some pretty cool ones, especially with the images. So don't sleep on that. Um, Appearance. If there's any other additional items that you'd like to customize, please let us know in the Discord or through the roadmap. Happy to keep updating this and add more customization features as needed. All right, and then finally, I already said this, but the integrations tab. So now all of the native integrations with the 3 meta products are available and active. And so if we were to connect one, and I hope I don't have one already connected to this, we're going to click authorize with Instagram, and it's going to bring me to log in. So if I click log in, oh shoot, gotta love the two-factor. All right, so here's the connection point. AI meeting scheduler is requesting access to my Instagram. If I select allow, it's now connected. So now everything is connected. The way I can enable it is simply by turning this toggle on. And now if I go to my Instagram account and ask it a question, it will respond with information that it has access to, which is right now the homepage of Stammer AI. So now if I go to Instagram, okay, so now I'm logged in as Stammer. Now if I go here and I say, how much does Stammer cost, which is that test message. There we go. So there's the information. And if we now go back into the conversations tab here, we can now see that there's a conversation with the tag Instagram with the question I just asked and the response. Now, this response is formatted specifically for Markdown, which is why Instagram is not able to render that information. So a small change that I would make if this one is hyper specific to Instagram would be make sure I would add into the prompt, I would say, make sure that your response does not include any Markdown information, just text, because you're responding as an Instagram DM. Final thing I'll mention with the integrations tab is the human handoff. And so this is going to be our first iteration of how you can take over a conversation from a user or from the AI agent. And it will work based off of these keywords right here. So if a user says stop or unsubscribe or talk to human or whatever it may be, the AI agent will send this as the final message. And then you can get a notification via email or webhook saying, hey, somebody on one of these 3 channels is trying to talk to a human. And at that point, you can go into either of these channels natively. So you would log into your Instagram, your WhatsApp business, or your Facebook Messenger and talk with the user natively on that platform itself. So that's how the human handoff works within the Instagram connection. I'm going to turn that off right now because it's trained on Stammer. But yeah, so that's how you connect Instagram. So yeah, so that's pretty much it with the demo build and how you connect to a Instagram account. Malcolm says, when you're done with everything and move to QA, just wanted to see if you had any updates on when we will get the ability to include the chat with a captured lead. Include the chat with the captured lead. So right now we have the summary tab, and this will do both. So this will have the conversation history as well as a public conversation link. So this will give you the ability to get the conversation and the lead data. Now, the difference in what you might be asking is this is generated or this is sent when a conversation has ended. And a conversation is ended when somebody clicks this new chat on the widget or when there is no response for 1 hour, it will send a summary. There is some weirdness here, and I'll be frank that when it comes to the integrations and the API, there is no ability for a user to create a new chat. There is simply the chat with the business. So unfortunately, based on the limitations within these platforms, like what we can really do is send the summary when there's no response, but we're not able to calculate or see when a new conversation is started on those integrations in those platforms. So the happy medium that we figured out is being able to send all of that data at once when there hasn't been a response for a while. So hopefully that helps with answering that question. And as we move into the general QA section here, if anybody has a question or they want to just speak up and ask a question, please feel free. All right, Hamza says, "Hey Ross, amazing platform. Quick question. How do we use Zapier on a white label subscription? If a client wants to integrate something using Zapier, they will have to search for Stammer." That is only if you tell them that, essentially. Once you create your white label version, the Stammer app itself on Zapier is just the Stammer app. But the way that you use the white label API within Zapier is almost as easy, essentially. So instead of having the Zapier step be the Stammer app, and let me see if I can pull up a quick example of that. We're going to use, so instead of the Stammer app, we're going to use your white label API. And so this is how you essentially hide it from your users. And if they were to want to do this themselves, you could either create an example or tutorial or be able to set this up for them by adding a step in here. And let me see if I can find it. Oh, well, so we can see here. So this is what it would look like if we used the Stammer app itself. A message comes in from Facebook. We're going to send that message to Stammer to generate the response. And then we're going to send the response back to the Facebook Messenger. Now, if we wanted to make this white labeled, we would essentially change this one to be the webhook. And this one, and there is a tutorial that I can send you. But this will allow you to enter in the information from your white label API. So you enter in this information and set up the chatbot UUID that you want to use. And that's found right here on the settings page or the AI agent page. And that will allow you to send that data to that specific AI agent on your white label version, and then everything will be hidden basically. Awesome, totally makes sense. Perfect. Malcolm asks, in specific, when a lead is captured, which triggers the email with lead information? Will the link be included in the email with the lead information? Got it. So right now, no, only the lead information is sent when the lead data is collected. So I think what you're getting to is, can we make it so that way when we get the lead collection information, it also sends the conversation in this view or this tab too? Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we can get that added because it's essentially the same functionality. It's just in another area. So we can definitely add that as an option to include the conversation history there. We can definitely do that. Perfect. Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. Any other questions or ideas or
Hi,
things?
Russ. I had a quick question.
Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm just kind of getting going with this stuff, kind of in green stages. I was just wondering if you could maybe talk loosely about pricing because in my head, I watched a couple of the videos and I know it's like the price point sweet spot you said was like 3, 4, or 500 a month.
Hmm.
But then if you're telling clients this or prospective clients this, and there's going to be additional message charges, I don't know, how do you kind of talk around that or position that? Because if you say 300 a month and then they have more message charges and it's like 600 a month, they'd kind of be a little bit pissed, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know how, or if you had a gauge like based on website visitor hits, like how often
Yep.
does
Yep.
more pricing happen or something like that?
Yeah. So the way that we've done this in the past is website visitors, about 50% of website visitors expect to have some sort of chat widget-esque thing around available. So if we can have a business owner that knows that information, that's quite useful. But a lot of business owners still don't even know that number, for example. So another question could be, how many phone calls do you get? How many inbound emails do you get? What type of communication are you guys doing right now? And the way that I've tried to structure this with a lot of the clients that we've sold it to is, don't even worry about the amount of messages or the amount of characters or any of the extra like ancillary things. Like, we will get you set up at 100 or 300 bucks a month, whatever it may be, and then we are able to see the like what is going on. So
Okay,
we cap it, like we'll cap it, and I'll do this basically just by adding a large sum of complimentary credit to their account when they sign up. And you can do that by editing a package and controlling how much credit they want to get on a monthly or on a recurring basis or a one-time credit. And so if you're telling your clients like, hey, don't worry about any pricing or anything like that, I would, and you know that they have a fairly good volume, I would probably add maybe like $100 a month or something in credit at 1 cent a piece, or 0.002 cents per piece if you're using 40 mini. That's tens of thousands of messages. That should be good for any small to medium sized business that has any sort of decent traffic on their website. Once you have that kind of baseline of what your customers have, then you can start to open it up and expand of, hey, if you do want, like, let's say you have a viral video that goes crazy. Well, you're guaranteed to have X amount of conversations within this, $60 or whatever of credit. And this is something that you as an agency would like figure out, and then you could customer face it to them. So you would say, hey, we noticed that you guys are getting X amount of conversations. Um, you guys are good. You don't have to worry about paying us any extra money. But let's say you have a viral campaign or a viral ad, and all of a sudden you get a 10x the amount of website traffic. It's only going to cost you 1 cent or 2 cents per message, whatever it may be. And that will give them an idea of, okay, here's what it could be if something goes crazy. So at least they have some sort of ballpark.
got it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And Hamza asks a related question. Is there a pricing playlist on YouTube or any specific video that would be a good starting point to crack the pricing matrix? There is a couple of videos on the YouTube that I pushed recently, I believe. Let me pull that one up. Oh, I think it's actually on my channel. If you're a new, yes, this one right here. How to price your AI chatbots for your agency, a beginner's guide. Put this in the chat here. So this goes over a lot of information. It's a 16-minute video, but it goes over the three main things of pricing, functionality, and support. And we've taken the hundreds of conversations that both myself and Drew have had. Drew's one of our teammates, and we've consolidated all that information and the advice that we've been given into that video. So that's a really good one to take a peek at. Drew is a legend. Yes. Yeah, shout out to Drew. Alrighty. Any other questions or final comments? If not, we'll be active in the Discord throughout the week and continuing to post some videos on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channels. And this will be posted later today as well. So if you guys want a full recap of the video, it'll be uploaded as well. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Ross.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.